Hello everyone, welcome back to the Autism Art Auction. I'm Nikki Thomas, hosting you on Sex, Brains and Money, here with our final guests of the day, but the reason that we're all here, the Macintosh family, Laura, Clara, Cliff, and Bruce. Thank all of you for being here today. Thank you so much, I really appreciate this. So, Laura, why don't you tell us what brings us here today?
What brings us here today, I think, is a gap that we've found in the system. And certainly for people with autism of all ages, there are a ton of gaps. Mm-hmm. But one that has hit our family particularly hard is the lack of services when you're in a crisis. When you have a kid who's really struggling, and Cliff has had some great points and some challenging points, right? And sometimes when he's growing and his medications aren't as effective as usual, he's suffering from, multiple meltdowns on a weekly basis. And it's really, really difficult for us as a family to keep him safe when he's having aggressive episodes, and to keep the rest of the family safe. But if you go to a hospital, they turn you away. I mean, they might take you and hold you overnight, and Cliff's been through that experience several times where he's held in overnight and then they release him back out into the community. And we'd like there to be a place where somebody like Cliff could go and stay for a few days, maybe a few weeks, a place where they could be calm and just have a chance to take a break, so that their family members, their siblings, and their parents could get a break until the other services kick in. Because of all those other services, of course, have wait lists that are measured in weeks and months, but there's nothing to meet the need right there when you're in the crisis. So after years of advocacy, and I mean, we started the Ontario Autism Coalition back in 2005, along with several other amazing parents, and we've been advocating on autism issues nonstop. But Basil, are you trying to steal the show again?
Yes. Well,
Why?
you know what, Laura? I think that the crisis center is a really, really great idea, and it definitely needs to happen. So, but why don't we talk to Cliff for a second?
Sure.
Cliff, why don't you tell us what you'd like to see from an autism crisis center?
Well, I'd I like to see a snizzling room.
What is that exactly?
What's it?
A snizzling room is like
Snizzling
a
room?
sensory room.
Oh, okay.
Where-
Yeah.
To keep you from getting overwhelmed by all the stimuli in the environment, right?
Yeah.
And help you calm down. Okay, great. So, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about one of the wonderful services that you've had in your life for 2 years now? This is Basil, the service dog extraordinaire, who seems to be a little bit camera shy and he's looking away. But tell us a little bit about Basil and what he's meant to you in your life.
Well, Basil is just an amazing dog. We're like happy to have him.
Mm-hmm. Well, Basil's actually one of Bonbon's best friends, and the two of them get to play in the dog park together all the time. And for those of you who have watched previous episodes of Sex, Brains and Money, Bonbon is my adorable chocolate lab. And unfortunately, she can't be here today because she's not blessed with the same skills as Basil and doesn't have the vest. Otherwise, I'd bring her everywhere that I would go. But say, Livy. So, Bruce, Clara, do you have anything to add to this? And Bruce, maybe you want to talk about how you've been working towards developing the services that your family really needs?
I guess the most important message to send to people, the crises that we've had with Cliff have had to do with aggressive outbursts. And the most important message that I'd like to deliver is that there's no connection between autism and aggression, specifically. It doesn't go together any more than it goes together with people who don't have autism. But when it does happen, when that's the behavior of the moment, it needs a particular type of understanding and support to deal with it. It's very hard to find, as Laura has said. However, the second part of the message would be that these underlaps in our service system absolutely have to be addressed thoroughly and soon, because the rate of diagnosis is on the rise. And to put that in perspective, 10 years ago you would have heard that 1 in 500 were being diagnosed. Today it's 1 in 88 or more. So people who do have these crises are coming to the system in increasing numbers, and we need to really do something to address their needs better than we do now.
Definitely. Well, you know what? I also have experience with a family member who has autism, and I know that it can be very, very difficult to get services, and that's why I wrote an article for the Huffington Post talking about how you need to take an integrative approach, and you need to look at this not just as a doctor-patient issue, but an entire family as being involved. And now I want to talk to Clara. Clara, why don't you tell us a little bit about what life is like in your family and some of the challenges you face, as well as some of the amazing experiences that you must have with family members.
Well, there's good times and bad times. Like, there's times where he really lights up and he's really nice and good. But there's also times when he has aggressive outbursts, which are never easy from my perspective. Like, it's one of the hardest challenges I've ever faced in my life. And, like, it's awful. Like, I remember once having to be locked up in my room for over half an hour. I remember having to call the police. And I just think it's way too much stress for a 10-year-old should have to handle.
I can't argue with you there, but I have to say you deal with it better than I would have when I was 10 years old, and I think you do a really great job of helping your brother in any way you can. And you helped your brother today by creating some artwork that you're now auctioning off to whomever decides that they want to have your piece highlighting their wall someday. And all I can say is that, as hard as these challenges may be, it takes a very loving family to meet those challenges, and I can tell by the way the four of you are sitting here with us today that you really do a great job of supporting each other, and now it's time for all of us to stand up and help support you. And we've got Basil here who does a great job of that as well. Look at him. He's such a big suck. He just loves to be the center of attention, I'm sure, but he's done a really good job of supporting all of you through times of difficulty. And Laura, I'm going to bring it back to you to close out. Do you have a message that you would like to share with the people watching today?
Well, before I do, I want to say thank you to you and everybody on your team for taking the time to do this show. As for a message for your viewers, I would say, I guess, if it's true that it takes a village, then we're calling on the rest of the village. We're knocking. We need to build this place, and it may take a decade before we actually break ground, but we're starting here. We're starting now, and you guys have a chance to bid on some amazing art pieces and be part of the first autism art auction here in Toronto. And more to come, but open those wallets and be as generous as you can, because our situation is far from unique. We're not just doing this for our family. We're doing this for all of the other families that are struggling out there because of the gaps in the system. And I just want to say thank you again.
Well said, Laura, well said. You know what? We have had so many people coming out today just to share their expertise, share their knowledge, share their experience, share their creativity, share their artwork, share their emotion, share their passion, and share their love for each other. We could not have asked for a better show today. I'm trying not to tear up because this is definitely the best thing that I've ever been a part of. Thank you so much to all of you. This is fantastic. And everyone who's watching this, autismartauction.com. Go there. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Nikki Thomas. This has been Sex, Brains and Money. We will follow up with everything that happens at the auction. We'll let you know exactly how much we raised. And as Laura said, this is the first one. It's not going to be the last. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.